Happy Friday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski here with Mario Tirabassi and Lawrence Benedetto.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? Thanks for being here. Do us a favor and smash that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, make sure you follow, rate, review, all that good stuff. Kind of a different show today. We've got kind of a grab bag potpourri, July 19th kind of a show.
Sure is
on
July.
schedule. But before we get into any of it, we want to send our thoughts to our buddy Greg Boyson, who they had to say goodbye. Greg and his partner Stacy had to say goodbye to their dog Stella today. If you've been following closely, Stella's had some health issues for the last few months, and Greg and Stacy have been doing everything they can to keep Stella going. And it was just, you know, when you have pets that are towards the end, they kind of let you know when it's time. And I think I was talking to Greg about a couple days ago, and I think he kind of had the indication that things were getting close with Stella. And he's had Stella for 11 years. Yeah. And as someone who's lost several pets over the years, including 2 dogs within the last 10 years, 7 years, it's very tough. It's a very, very tough day.
Always hard.
Losing a pet. So, of course, our thoughts are primarily with Greg today. And I hope all you can send Greg some well wishes in the chat here or on his social medias, wherever you feel comfortable. But it's a day we've sort of seen coming a little bit, but it doesn't make it any easier. And
it's never fun.
Yeah, just hoping that everybody's doing okay over there at the Boyson house. And got to think about Pickle, the other dog. Yeah. It's tough on the other pets, too, when one doesn't come home. It's brutal. So, I don't know. It's just sad. Greg texted us this morning, and you know, I won't be in. We're saying goodbye to Stella. And it's like, damn. You know, there's nothing you can even really say to anybody.
Right. It's just one of those parts of life, and it's just so unfair that, you know, we don't get to have more time with our pets than we do. And yeah, it's tough. So thoughts and good feelings out to Greg and Stacy and those that knew Stella and enjoyed her presence.
Yeah, someone with an 11-year-old dog who was just at the emergency vet on Tuesday is seemingly doing well, but also my first ever dog.
Yeah.
I definitely have that horrible feeling in my
just not,
gut that I
it's
don't
not
want
a
to know
good
about.
It's not a good place to be. So we're thinking about you, Greg, and of course Stacy too, and Stella and Pickle.
Love you guys.
Yeah. So hopefully Greg's back Monday, but take all the time you need, buddy. We know it's a very, very hard thing. Yep. It's hard. Well, it's hard to explain to someone who's never had a pet what it feels like.
And it's, you know,
especially with a dog.
And it's different than, you know, you lose a person in your life because you communicate, you have a, you know, it's a two-way relationship. Whereas with an animal, you know, a dog or cat or what have you, you know, you don't, the communication and expression of that relationship is different.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it's on like in some cases it might sometimes feel like on a higher level because, you know, if you get the affection of like a dog or a cat or something like that, it's just like, oh, like I couldn't just express to you verbally how I feel. Like I have to show and take care of and, you know, all that stuff. And then they, you know, reciprocate it back. And it is a different type of connection. Yeah.
I think the thing that struck me after losing our first dog was like, that was always the constant. So when you're frustrated with family or friends or whatever, like you come home and the dog or the cat is the same every day.
Right.
They're always happy to see you. They're always relying on you, dependent on you. So like no matter how good or bad your day was, you walk in that door and the reaction's the same from your pet. When it's not, that's when you know, like, oh, God, something's wrong. And that's really the only way they can communicate with you.
Right, yeah.
Is by not being themselves. And sometimes by then it's too late. I've learned that the hard way. You know, our last dog, Ray, was 5 years old. She was a perfect dog from the day we brought her home at 1. All of a sudden, she wasn't eating, and the next week she was gone. She had Lyme disease. We had no way to know. Like a tick got her.
Right.
And that's it. So, anyway, thoughts to Greg. I know a lot of people listening and watching have pets at home, so give him an extra treat today. Give him some cheese or whatever makes him happy. I know when I get home, Bailey's getting a lot of love today. So, anyway, hockey.
Anyways, yeah, hockey in the summer. Yeah, it's a tough transition, but Yeah, we'll maybe we'll see Greg on Monday. Monday's our golf outing and stuff. So if he wants to get out, some fresh air, and make fun of everyone golfing, that might make him feel better and make everyone else feel a little bit more self-aware of their lack of golf skills. So that would be fun.
Well, I'll be the worst one in our foursome. It's me, you, your dad, and James DeVoe.
Yeah, three gyms and a half gym.
That's right.
That's my middle name.
That should
James,
be fun. I'm looking forward to it. James is good. I know you're pretty good. I don't know about your dad, but I'm assuming decent golfer. I will be finding my ball.
My dad's pretty decent. I don't know. I think I'm okay. So I don't know. I think it'll be fun. The most important part is have fun.
Is it bad that I haven't golfed since our last outing and haven't even been to a range or anything?
I believe that's my last time golfing too. I've been to Top Golf.
I haven't even done that.
But that's not.
That's like going to a range.
Well, but you don't need to be good though. You're just kind of.
At least you're swinging a club. I haven't swung a club.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. Well,
Fair
at least
enough.
you're not in our group.
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it.
Or
I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to Monday. Should be good weather. Should be a good time. Yeah. See you out there. If you haven't signed up, I think
it's too late actually.
Sucks to be you.
Well, we got the one in August at Cog Hill.
yeah.
So if you want to do our second golf outing that's coming up, Mondays is sold out, closed down for now. But we've got the one coming up in August at Cog Hill, which is awesome.
Classic.
The Kickoff Classic, the second annual. You can say that now. CHGO Kickoff Classic, Cog Hill course number 2, August 23rd, at 9 a.m. AllCHGO.com. Go buy your tickets. Of course, if you're a diehard, you will save 20% as you always do.
Look at Nux in his plaid. He looks
He's
good.
got the plaid going. Yeah.
Looking like
is he wearing that helmet? Is that the?
Yeah, maybe.
I guess technically, that's technically on his head. I think.
There's no gambling at Bushwood. I never.
Well, wait. Are his eyes on the back ends of the thumb and the middle
Mario?
finger? What's going on there? I guess I never really looked at all the detail.
You don't want to know about the anatomy of Nux.
Don't think about it.
How does Nux go to the bathroom?
Shush! Stop talking.
Is he all head and no body, or
He had little legs there. Come on. He's just like the hamburger helper, all right? He knows how to cook.
Yeah, see, that's it.
meal.
He's of the hamburger helper lineage.
he's like the glove? Yeah.
There you go. All right, where do we want to start with hockey here? We got a couple little potpourri items we wanted to get to today.
Let's yell about Seth Jones again.
All right, we haven't done that in 2 days.
So the wonderful people at The Athletic, Dom Lucian, one of his favorite things to do every about midpoint of the summer of the offseason is tell everyone how bad Seth Jones' contract is. So all the Seth Jones haters get a restock of their hate for Seth Jones, and all the defenders have to deal with it. But luckily, this year, Seth Jones doesn't have the worst contract in the NHL anymore.
Nice.
That belongs to Jonathan Huberdeau.
Well,
suck it, Calgary.
Suck, Huberdeau.
I think he was taking a shit.
Again, this is based off of different metrics and the model that Dom has here. It says the annual average value of Huberdeau's contract, which his AAV is $10.5 million. The projected average value over the remaining years of his contract, he is playing as a $4.9 million player. So my math says that's less than half of what he's earning. So that's pretty bad.
I'm just going to qualify this, by the way. I know we're talking about it. I don't love these. I don't know.
Because Jonathan Huberdeau is still a good player.
Yes.
But this model is basically what has their play been valued at, and what are they actually getting in dollars, which, as we've said for basically almost the entirety of the existence of this show, is that Seth Jones is not worth $9.5 million. He's worth $7.5, maybe $8.
Yeah.
Depending on who you talk to. So, but hey, as long as he's not the worst, that's an improvement.
It's just hard for me to, this is not baseball where it's a series of one-on-one matchups, pitcher versus hitter.
Right.
This is a team sport, and other people's performance is dependent on those around them. So that's why I kind of scoff at it. And it's amazing when Seth Jones spends most of the season with Alex Vlasic, suddenly his contract doesn't look so awful.
Right. Yeah,
weird how that
suddenly
works.
His numbers get better. Other names on this list between the worst of Jonathan Huberdeau and Seth Jones. Number 2 is Chandler Stevenson, who just signed this contract like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Already
Those are fun.
Second worst. Tom Wilson, number 3.
Confirmed Pudwack.
Number 4 is Colton Parayko of the Blues. You hate to see that. Number 5, Damon Severson, who is overpaid by $3.3 million here by this metric. But I think the other thing, too, is when we talk about these things, taken into consideration is that most of these contracts have like 6 or 7 years left on them. So I think that's the other thing, is not only just like dollar for dollar value, but also how much longer each of those contracts have. So like Severson, like his value is $3 million. He's being paid 6.3. So it's like, okay, yeah, he's overpaid by $3 million, but he's being overpaid by an average of $3 million for the next 7 years, which, I mean, for any team, that's just like, basically it's like if you're eating $3 million on a player for the next 7 years, like, you know, theoretically you wouldn't want that. Mark Scheifele, number 6. Number 7, the sometimes scratched captain of the Philadelphia Flyers, Sean Couturier. And then number 8, your friend and mine, Seth Jones, which it's hilarious when you look at this this chart here. So average annual value 9.5, projected value 6.1. That's higher than, if I'm looking at it correctly, his average value projected by Dom's model is higher than anyone that was previously named. Higher than Huberdeau at 6.1 million. Yeah. So out of the 8 worst contracts in the league, Seth Jones is playing as the best player out of those 8 guys. He has a plus 3 offensive rating and a plus 1 defensive rating over, you know, NHL average for value of the contract. So that's a net plus 4, which is in the top 3/4 of the NHL. And yeah, like he's a model value of 6.1 million, but that is way better than it was the year before and the year before that. I'm
trying to find the 2023 list.
Yeah, as the contract has gone on. And Dom says here, this is from Dom Lucian at The Athletic. Over the last year, I've done a lot of fine-tuning with the model in terms of how players are valued, both on ice and off ice, better reflection of contract value. So both have helped make Seth Jones and his deal look more palatable, but he is still not where the Blackhawks need him to be. Jones is being paid like a franchise defenseman, but the model views him as closer to a decent number 2 option. The gap between those two things from a financial perspective is very wide, coming in at $3 million this season. To be worth his deal, Jones needs to step up in 2024-25 and the next 5 years after. So kind of along the lines of what we've said, like, is he a $9.5 million defenseman? No. Is he the best defenseman on the team? And is he tasked with being that? Yes. And has he performed as that in what he's been asked to do? Yes.
I would say so. Jim Von Felt says Seth Jones is not worth more than $5 million a year. Well,
I disagree.
The numbers tell you he's worth 6.1 based on Dom Lucian's model. Last year, by the way, Dom had Seth Jones as the worst contract in the league, modeled at $3.6 million. That was the model value.
Yeah. So he went up $2.5 million.
Amazing. What happens when you get to play with someone who's pretty damn good as your partner?
Yeah.
And that's why these things to me are like, they're nonsensical. If you put him with Cale Makar, maybe his numbers are, wow, he's a great value. Look at the numbers he's putting up and look at all the defensive metrics. Like, he's so great.
Yeah.
It's a team sport. That's why I scoff at these things sometimes. But congratulations, Seth Jones. You are no longer
not the worst.
The worst contract in hockey.
And then to round out the top 10, number 9, Darnell Nurse, and then number 10, Tyler Seguin. But again, Seguin valued at a $4.4 million projection, and Darnell Nurse valued at a $5.9 million projection. So out of the 10 worst contracts, Seth Jones has the highest value.
There you go.
Take that for what you know.
And Michael says, but you were also saying he's only $1.5 million overpaid. That's the point of saying
that's our model.
Yes, and
that's
you have
not Dom's model. That's our patented model.
Yes, and it's based on more than just here are numbers and here's what he's worth based on these numbers. No, you have to look at the people around him and now he's got better people around him, he will suddenly be a better player. Weird.
I'm willing to throw out a big old hot take.
Uh-oh.
He won't be on this list in 365 days.
Okay, I like that.
Nice.
Mark that down.
Mark it
down. All right, more.
Save that file right next to the Blues are worse than the Blackhawks roster.
You got it.
Keep it for next year.
Hey, between work, social media, the chat, and choices life throws your way, or your power being out for 5 days, it's no wonder we're more worked up than ever. Coors Light celebrates rising above and choosing a chill mindset. Why not turn a crazy-ass news thing last night into a house party instead?
Did I miss something? I might have missed
Do
something.
that.
Was this a Hulkamaniac reference?
Sure.
Okay.
Make of that what you will. Things are stressful, and sometimes you just need to slow down, take a deep breath, throw some dogs on the grill, choose chill, and then crack open a nice cold Coors Light to not only cool your body, but cool your mind.
Mm-hmm.
See what I did there?
Yes.
And you know,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Coors Light, when those mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. When you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Choose chill, Seth Jones haters.
Yeah.
Yes. Choose chill and be happy that you have a very good defenseman on your team. And, you know, when the Blackhawks are looking for more very good defensemen, maybe they'll use Indeed. Who knows?
Yeah, sure.
They might use their...
Oh, they found Steve Pops back in the day.
Yeah. And when you're looking for your next job or your next great hire, you want to use Indeed because they are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. No. It is to match, and to match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed, because Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors.
Damn.
That's according to Indeed's data. And a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. You can ditch the busy work and use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employees agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, again, according to a recent Indeed survey. And in the time that I've been talking, 23 hires were just made on Indeed, according to Indeed's
everybody.
data worldwide. Yeah, congratulations to those 23.
Good job.
Welcome to the new job.
Shout out to MJ.
And listeners of this lovely show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. So just go to Indeed.com/AllCity. That's ALLCITY right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Again, that's Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
And they sponsor all of our breaking news, and we got some
do.
Bears adjacent news.
Oh,
Eddie Jackson,
Back.
1 year deal with
Chicago.
the Ravens.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
Ejax going to the Ravens.
There you
good
go.
for Eddie Jackson.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks,
Sad for the
Indeed.
Bears? I don't know. I'm.
They brought in.
No, they got rid of him
They
already.
brought
Yeah.
somebody in.
Yeah, they're fine.
Didn't he already play a season outside of Chicago, or was he just?
He was here last year, right?
Was he here last year?
Yes,
Or am I
but I
confusing
mean,
him with somebody
I feel
else?
like we knew he wasn't coming
Yeah.
back.
Okay, that's what it was.
Right.
All right. Well, good for him.
Congratulations.
Do they play the Ravens this year?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
If there was only a way to find
Yeah.
out.
There's no way to know. There's absolutely no way to know. We just have to wait till when Sunday rolls
Just
around.
every Sunday is.
Say,
it's
who do they
a-
play today? Right when the broadcast starts?
It's a
Ooh,
new,
it's Vikings
new game. I don't see the Ravens on their schedule. Nope.
No Eddie Jackson revenge game until the Super Bowl, my friends.
There you go. Absolutely.
All right, what's next up in your potpourri bowl?
How about when the Blackhawks championship window is opening?
I like that. Let's
According
do it.
to Matt Larkin of the Daily Faceoff.
Matt Larkin.
Yesterday, Matt Larkin. Oh, I'm sorry, not yesterday. Earlier this week. Let's call it Tuesday.
Sure.
Matt Larkin was going through the 4 divisions of the NHL and breaking down when different teams he feels when their windows of contention are either opening, either now, down the road, or if they are shut. And so going through the Central Division, as you can imagine, he has a wide open window for the Dallas Stars. He has a win now window for the Colorado Avalanche and Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
Which that feels right.
Yeah, I mean, you bring in Steven Stamkos, and that's a win now move.
Stamkos, Marchessault.
Yeah.
Who's the defenseman they brought in?
There's no way to know.
I should
Once again,
Brady Shea.
Yes, Brady Shea.
Right. Like those are all guys that are like at the tail end of their quote unquote prime, I guess you'd call it, but they're still very good top tier guys in the league. But given the window of time that those free agent acquisitions are, and the fact that they don't really have like a robust pipeline coming behind them, like it's basically you got to do it in this window. So that makes sense for Nashville. Same for Colorado. Like we've talked about them and their cap situation, and it's just like, I don't know what you're gonna do, but you better do it now.
That
like,
cap situation is already tough.
Yeah,
and you might get Gabriel Landeskog back, and it's not like they're gonna tell Landeskog like, "Hey, thanks for working your ass off for the last 2 years to get back, but we don't really have cap space for you. So if you could just retire, that would be great."
Right, yeah.
You're not gonna do that to your captain, so they got to figure something out. But now's the time.
Yep. And then in the window opening section, you have the Utah Hockey Club, formerly the Arizona Coyotes. That makes sense, right?
I'm doing the window opening mechanic.
Ah, nice.
Wow,
that's very good.
You're like
you got to undo the latch, push it up with the thumbs.
Yeah. I know Lewis was an aviation school. I didn't know it was a mime school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really
I minored in miming.
That's pretty good. That's why you're here.
That's right.
But also in the window opening section are the Chicago Blackhawks. From Matt Larkin, says, "Don't sleep on Chicago as a potential fringe playoff team this season. Seriously. Just as the Pittsburgh Penguins and Edmonton Oilers leapt into the playoffs in the MVP sophomore seasons of Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, the Hawks have given themselves a chance to do the same in season 2 of their generational talent, Connor Bedard. Their forward additions include Tyler Bertuzzi, Teuvo Teravainen. They've also added TJ Brody and Alec Martinez on defense, and Laurent Brossoit upgrades their goaltending. Those veteran additions, plus Taylor Hall's return from injury, lift the floor of a team building around Bedard, defenseman Alex Vlasic, young center Frank Nazar, and fresh number 2 overall pick Artem Levshunov. Chicago remains a long shot to make the postseason, but is a virtual lock to improve markedly on their last season's 31st overall finish."
Here's the thing. I want 82 games where I am interested and engaged.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Like
100%.
And we had it last year because it was Connor Bedard.
Mm-hmm.
And everything with Connor Bedard was interesting. But now it's an actual whole team with compelling stories to it. And I think, Vlasic's development was exciting. And Reichel, the up and down year, well, mostly down year for Reichel was a story. But this year, this is a team that's going to be in most games they play.
I would like to see that, yeah.
And it is going to matter. And I think, what do we say? We kind of predicted, maybe they're in it until, Christmas, New Year, Valentine's Day at the latest. Kind of like last year's Arizona, then maybe they fade a little bit. But, I don't know. If this team is healthy, which is a big if, considering you're 3 of the guys really you're counting on to be healthy are perpetually hurt. Taylor Hall, Athanasiou, and Connor Murphy are almost always hurt.
Yeah.
And that was Mrazek's reputation until last year when he wasn't.
He was healthy.
So there's 4 that have at least off the top of my head, that have injury, concerns pretty much going into every year. But if they can stay mostly healthy, they're a pretty competitive roster.
Yeah, I feel like with where the rest of the Central Division is at, I mean, a couple of shows ago we went through what each team did and how they improved or didn't improve. I feel like you're still talking about a Blackhawks team that, if everything goes right, you're still just not really there. But I mean, I'm not gonna call Matt Larkin crazy for saying that they could be a fringe playoff team, because look, if you have the turnaround that we're all expecting, you have the health that you get 60 games out of Taylor Hall or more, which would be great. If you have Brossoit play like he did last year, have that carry over, have Mrazek carry, I think what undersells or what is being under talked about for this Blackhawks improvement is the goaltending position. Because last year it was like Mrazek had, like, sure, his numbers were kind of like in the middle of the league, but if you look at what he was playing in front,
just housed every night.
Look what was playing in front of him. Like, what he actually did, like, was extremely impressive. And then the games he didn't play, I mean, just going into any game that was Arvid Soderblom started, you had no idea what was going to happen.
No,
I mean, you had a good idea, but you had no idea how it was going to play out. How is he going to give up 4 or 5 goals today? Are they going to be, is he going to be flopping around, like losing his net all the time, out of position, like, fighting the puck? Like, there was no confidence in that. And now let's say if you get 50 games of Mrazek and 32 of Brossoit, or maybe closer to an even 50-50 split with Brossoit in net, like, I feel very confident that they can go out and have a normal looking game, and the defense doesn't have to play tight and be like, any shot that goes on net could go in.
That's a huge factor.
That is a big difference from last year to this upcoming
guys talk about that all the time. We talked to Nick Foligno about it several times when he was in here with us, and you just say, like, the way you kind of ask the question without him bus tossing a teammate is you say, hey, when Peter Mrazek's back there, you guys look like you play with a lot of confidence.
Right.
And that's the way of saying unlike the other guy without saying unlike the other guy.
Right.
And he says when you've got a guy making saves that are not expected to be made, or even like just stopping the stuff you're supposed to stop, makes a massive difference. Another thing, too, that I think we maybe miss a little bit, Luke Richardson talked about it after the season, and then Kyle Davidson addressed it after free agency, saying, like, there were so many injuries and so many new players that Luke Richardson wasn't even really able to put together the system he wanted to, because it was constantly just getting these new faces caught up on the basics. Right. They could never really drive in and dig in and really form a system. So what Kyle Davidson said after free agency was, last year we were not protected against injury. This year we feel like with the veterans we've brought in, and the guys and the kids in Rockford that are on the cusp, and had they approached this season like last, would probably be on the roster. Nazar, one of Del Mastro or Allen or Kaiser, maybe 2 of those 3. Probably Nazar, right? Now you're saying, hey, let's let these guys earn a spot. If they do, great. If not, we're not screwed without them. But then if Taylor Hall goes down or Pat Maroon goes down, you can call up Landon Slager. You can call up Frank Nazar. And you don't have to go find Rem Pitlick and Anthony Beauvillier off the scrap heap. You can have guys who have worked in your system in Rockford, worked in your system in Chicago during training camp, preseason, the games they play. They're just much more protected against that. The thing that, and I like that he used the word fringe, because for all the hope you have about, hey, maybe this year they take a big step. The wild card team last year with the least amount of points,
with 98 points.
98 in the West, 91 in the East. Washington Capitals had 91 points. That's a massive jump from the 52 the Blackhawks had.
Sure, absolutely.
But this team is so significantly better. So significantly better than last year. I don't know. I just think be in the conversation. They always use it for the NFL, in the hunt.
In the hunt, yeah.
It be on the in the hunt graphic until end of February. I call that a successful season.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think too, like with Bedard, like, he played at close to a point per game last year. What was it? 61 points in 68 games. As an 18-year-old, he was named Rookie of the Year, and he did it with almost no help. Like his best teammate was Philip Kurashev, who probably on a contending team tops out as a third line option. And
at best. And no disrespect.
No. I mean, he could be a fine middle six player here in the next few years as this team continues to improve. And lots of players would love to be that. But I think now you put Bedard a year behind him in the NHL. He's no longer like just kind of figuring out the league. Like, I think he's going to play with more of a sense of like what to expect. And then you pair him with likely Teuvo Teravainen and Tyler Bertuzzi, or one of those two and Philip Kurashev. Like, you're talking about top end NHL players playing with Connor Bedard frequently basically every night. He doesn't have to play with, anybody that's like a fringe guy or a fourth line player or anything like that. I'm not going to say he's going to put up 100 points like Crosby and McDavid did in their second years, but as much of a significant jump as we might see in standings points for the Blackhawks, it might correlate with what Bedard does.
Yeah, and we talked about it when the signings were made. Like, would you be surprised if either Teuvo or Bertuzzi had career years statistically playing with Bedard?
No, it wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me in the least. All right, when we come back, more on this and a little bit on, was Patrick Kane snubbed from a list that ESPN published? But first, we want to tell you about our friends at Shady Rays. Get yourself ready for the rest of summer. There's a lot of summer left.
Oh, yeah. With
quality shades built to last from our friends at Shady Rays. They have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. With hundreds of options to choose from, you are bound to find the perfect pair for you. We wear our Shady Rays all the time. I got them in my car for those sunny days, and I will say, they do make the vision better. It's very strange. I don't know how it works, but it really does work. And if you don't believe me, don't worry about it, because if you don't love your shades, you can exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
It's a lot of people.
Yep.
And we go from the Shady Ray to the Chevy Ray.
Ray.
Choose Ray Chevrolet as your first draft pick and find the right new Chevy and the right price for you. Visit our partner this July to shop the Freedom to Save sales event going on all month long at their location on Route 12 in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Plus, find the perfect tailgate vehicle. Right now, get $12,000 off MSRP on a new 2024 Chevy Silverado, or lease the new 2024 Chevy Trax for only $188 a month for 24 months. Or cruise into July your own way and shop over 125 of their vehicles priced under $20,000. And if you've heard of Ray Chevrolet, then you've also heard of Ray's Price Promise. Their guarantee is to make your next vehicle more affordable than ever with no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees ever. That means the incredible prices we're talking about right now, you can expect to see them every time you shop Ray Chevy in-store or online. So shop the Freedom to Save sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
All right. Well, hey, do us a favor. We have not asked for likes yet, so please
spike it.
Spike that like button for us.
Boom.
Give it a body slam, a choke slam, power bomb, tombstone,
atomic drop,
big back body drop,
spine buster.
Side Russian leg sweep,
arm bar,
reverse arm bar. is that Chris Jericho with the list, which is the greatest bit of all time. They come back from break and he's still reading. Just hit it for us. We would appreciate that big time. All right, let's tie a bow on the playoff conversation. And like I said, it's just a matter of games having meaning. And when we sort of talked about as last season ended, and you heard Foligno and Davidson and everybody saying, like, it can't be like this again. We can't have a year like this year again.
Right.
Part of that is you don't want losing to feel routine. You don't want losing to not hurt anymore. Yeah. And I think based on kind of the stuff they said / didn't say, there were some guys that were just like, whatever. Yeah. I'm here to do a job. I will do it. And
the more
I'll use half my ass.
The more context clues that we got as the season ended, and then as kind of Kyle Davidson and Luke Richardson spoke at prospect camp, the clearer picture became there was a it wasn't just like one or two guys. Like there were a handful of players who were coasting last year. And I think the ones that aren't here again, I don't want to say all of them were doing that, but I think you could surmise by the play on the ice, and for some of them, the way they spoke after the season, that there might have been some gas left in the tank when they ended the year, and that's not what a Luke Richardson team is going to look like or should look like at the end of the season. Like they want the culture of the team to be, no matter the result, you're bought in, you're giving 100% of yourself every night. And, they need players that are going to do that, because not only individually is that important, but across the locker room, that's important.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's understandable, just not naming anyone specific, but if you're a two-time Cup champion that's played 738 NHL games, scored 193 goals, and say 238 assists, and, your heart's not in it in Chicago, take your heart not in it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not needed around here.
Right.
Like, enjoy.
And there's, like I said, impacts around the locker room like that.
Yep. Absolutely. Especially when it's a veteran of 738 games, give or take.
Yeah, give or take. One or two.
Yeah.
How many cups was that?
2, I believe.
2.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Not
hypothetically,
not here in
course.
Chicago.
Hypothetically, of course.
Yeah, not here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think this season, again, I think we're going to see 82 games of a team that, when Connor Bedard is on the bench, it is not a awkward looking team. I think we are getting to the point. We are past Jeremy Colleton. We are past like the Derek King, like,
well, it's still his fault.
No offense to him, but like kind of piecemealing things. And now we're past the like, okay, tear down to the studs phase. I think we're getting back to a point where, this is what NHL hockey looks like on a nightly basis.
Yes.
Which is a great place to be after the last few years. So I'm looking forward to this season.
All right, we're gonna get to the Patrick Kane snub here in a second, but we got a $2 super chat from Boris Dachuk.
My favorite.
That's the Chuk, not
Dachuk.
Dachuk.
I love it.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh God. We only have.
I have
left.
solved this problem very clearly.
2
I
minutes
can explain.
Yeah,
Okay,
please
go
do.
ahead.
Yeah, you are the one.
If you are invited to a party
podcast.
and you ask the host, "Hey, is there anything you'd like me to bring to the party?" and they say, "Yes, bring sandwiches," and you show up with hot dogs, you have failed the assignment. Now,
Yeah.
if you show up with Italian beef, that's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
A sub, that's a sandwich.
Definitely.
Peanut butter and jelly, sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
A burger,
Chicken mafalda, sandwich.
sandwich. Hot dog, by that definition, is not a sandwich.
Now, why is that different than an Italian beef? It is meat between two buns.
I don't know, but it is.
Mm.
I can't explain to you why it's not a sandwich, but it's not a
I
sandwich.
kind of don't agree
Yeah,
with you there.
different things have different. Soup and cereal are the same things. It's ingredients in liquid,
Right.
but one's a soup and one's cereal.
And gazpacho is soup, and that's cold.
Right.
Huh.
And like jelly and jam is fruit mashed up.
It's
And-
how the government described adult films. You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah,
It's hard to
it's
define,
a good way to put it.
but when you see it, you know what it is.
I think there's a easy way to define an adult
Because
film.
for some reason, when you put an Italian sausage in a French roll, sandwich. But when you put
I
a
thought
hot dog in a
I don't know
bun,
if you were talking about adult films yet.
hey man, as long as it's consensual, but you put a hot dog. CNKQ says a hot dog has its own name, but so does a hamburger. And a burger
so
to
does
me
an
is a
Italian
sandwich.
beef.
On,
I mean, I guess
but
Italian
on
beef
but on
might
most
be-
Probably
restaurants,
beef sandwich.
if you go to most restaurants that have burgers and sandwiches and stuff, they'll either have separate sections of the menu that say burgers, sandwiches, or it might be burgers and sandwiches in its own section, but they're both individually listed.
All right, Law. What is your go-to? If you had to name one Chicago beef stand, what would you name it?
Thank you,
Like,
Boris
what's the
Dachuk,
one?
for
That's Johnny's.
Johnny's.
Really?
Okay, I'm going
Johnny's
with Johnny's beef.
Yeah.
I want to see if they actually have a website with a menu.
Elmwood Park, baby.
All right,
I'd be
menu.
shocked if they had a website, to be totally
Menu.
honest.
Lincoln
I'd
Park.
imagine
They do have a
Johnny's,
website.
Johnny's Beef has
Johnny's-beef.com.
hot dogs and
Hot dog is its own category. Sandwiches is its own category. Euros is its own category.
Euros? They don't have Euros at Johnny's.
It's literally on our menu on their website.
on the internet.
Maybe the Arlington Heights location.
They also have pitas. The Italians, which is where the beef sandwiches and sausage sandwiches live.
That's where I live.
And meatless. Who wants that?
Meatless.
So they do have sandwiches and hot dogs separate.
Yeah. I if something has got the word sandwich in it, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, clearly defined as a sandwich. You don't say you would never say, "Can I get a hot dog sandwich, please?"
Yeah, you get punched in the face.
Yeah. Can I get a taco sandwich, please? Like, no.
It's like when I went to I don't know if I told this story in the air. I think I told you. Your sandwich reminded me that you got today from JP Graziano, my favorite spot in the city.
Tomatoes.
Oh, it's tomatoes.
Yeah, my girl Rosanna.
That's why the cutlet makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
She keyed
fair
me
enough.
into that, yeah.
But I was in JP Graziano one day, Randolph and Peoria. For those that haven't been, bless yourself, go there. I was in line, and a guy behind me ordered, I want an Italian with hot Giordano. And it was like a movie. The record scratched. All the hustle and bustle stopped. Every pair of eyes turned to the guy. And this buddy goes, he's from New York. And Jim Graziano goes, Giardinera.
Oh, God.
And the guy's like, Giardinera. He's like, all right, fine.
Actually, on my way here today, I saw a guy walking across the street with his dog, and he had the Eat More Giardinera shirt from Chi-Town Clothing. I was like, you man.
Have you seen the hat they sell at Graziano? It's like the
I know. I've almost bought it. Yeah. I've thought about it.
It's like the Clark Griswold style Bears hat, but it's green and red and it says Giardinera across the front of it. Nice. It's pretty great.
Boris followed up here.
What's that?
Boris followed up.
Said this is far more in-depth conversation than I was expecting.
Yeah, well, man, you gave us $2,
and he's here for it. Yeah.
We'll talk about anything for $2. That's our potpourri show.
I would say, pound for pound. Meaning in more ways than one, I would say our show talks more in-depthly about food than any other show on the CHGO network.
Well, I'm passionate about it.
I would say.
Yeah.
Things I love the most, food and hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Food's the best.
Yeah. All right. Old Sneaky Pete says, had 39 hours of driving over the last 2 weeks. So I went back and listened to episodes from 2 years ago. Bravo, boys. Most takes were spot on. I've now listened to over 100% of the episodes. That's not possible.
I don't know how that's possible.
You can't listen to over 100%.
Thank you.
Also,
well, I guess you can listen to some multiple times.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. Re-listening, sure.
Yeah.
And I mean,
we should do that. Go back and just revisit.
Our watch-alongs aren't posted as podcasts, as episodes, I guess. So over 100% would be to also tune into the watch-alongs.
You know what we should do?
Wow.
We should do like a Mystery Science 3000 broadcast of us watching one of our old shows.
God. I love it.
Like and just reacting to our takes on
one of our first shows.
How about our first draft show?
The 22 draft?
Pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. We thought the return for DeBrincat wasn't enough.
The roller coaster of that day was quite...
We were pissed about the Korchinski pick because who was there? Frank Nazar was right there to take.
It all flipped around.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, things are looking good.
All right, and then we have one more from Dale. Chi-Town saying, speaking of 5 Rabanitos and Rubies from my other podcast, the I'm Fat podcast, have you had carnitas Urapan? I have not. I will. I tried Rubies for the first time last week. Rubies on 18th.
Yeah.
The best taco I've ever had, hands down.
Wow.
So that's high
hands
praise.
Down. Oh, yeah. Better than Lana Del Rey tacos. 100%. And I'm a big 5 Rabanitos guy. Nothing against them. They've got the best cochinita pibil that I've had in quite a while. But those tacos at Ruby's were insane. The tortillas, homemade, a little bit thicker. We're not talking like pita, but a little thicker than your standard tortilla.
You know those are homemade.
Big servings of meat. And then they've got quesadillas there too. But the quesadillas have onion and cilantro and like lots of meat. They were basically just bigger tacos with melted cheese in them.
Sounds good.
It was great. They've got the aguas frescas there. The agua de Jamaica is like one of my favorite drinks in the world. I'm telling you, man.
Okay.
Ruby's on 18th.
That's pretty close to here. I'm happy to go.
It's really, really good. Right there in Pilsen.
Good to me.
Charlie the Bang guy's upset. Apparently,
Why do I get hate for listening to everything after vacation?
Because we're still waiting on our bacon party that we won.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's why.
Handily.
Yeah. Well, that's coming. We've been told. So.
Yes. All right, let's get back to the serious stuff here. What are we doing?
What was the serious stuff? Oh yeah,
Patrick Kane snubbed.
the set in stone, not subjective at all. ESPN top 100 professional athletes since the year 2000, featuring 3 NHL players: Connor McDavid, apparently number 98.
Sure.
Alex Ovechkin, number 54, and Sidney Crosby, number 26. Those are the 3 NHL players that cracked the top 100 since 2000.
Look, we can spend a lot of time going through the list and saying Patrick Kane's better than this person and that person and this person and that person.
And guess what?
And
we
where they
did that
belong. But like
before the show.
James Harden.
James Harden.
Don't most people loathe James Harden?
James Harden at number 67.
I can't
Everything. I'm not a basketball guy. I acknowledge this, but every time I hear James Harden's name, it's someone making fun of him for being chubby. I would never, or like being horrible at defense, or being one-dimensional as hell.
Yeah,
and I mean, aside from the chubbiness, you could probably say the same stuff about Patrick Kane.
He is an amazing basketball player, but his game sucks. He's one of those. He's a ball hog, not ball hog, but like the offense has to go through him, and he just kind of is one of those dribble, shoot, and I don't know. I hate his game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I also think he's a loser and will never win a championship, but that's just me.
Probably won't.
Like,
well, and
I don't know enough about soccer or like the WNBA to like really passionately argue against any, or like Lewis Hamilton's on the list. I'm sure he's a great F1 driver. Yep. NASCAR, no clue. I don't know. But like,
as far as I saw, Jimmy Johnson was the only NASCAR driver.
Okay.
And he won 7 NASCAR championships.
I've heard of him, so that means he's good.
Like that is significant.
Him,
sure.
Ricky Bobby.
Dale
That's all I
Earnhart.
got. That's all I got.
You know,
Dale Earnhardt and Junior
and his kid. Yeah. But the point you made before the show, though, like, it just resonates with me. Is Patrick Kane, his career, which is still going on in the 2000s,
correct,
as far as
confirmed.
I know, was he not a better hockey player and more significant than Jason Kidd to basketball in his 2000s playing career? I would say yes.
I think so.
Like okay, Jason Kidd's accomplishments in the 2000s, named to the Hall of Fame, NBA champion in 2011 with the Mavericks, 8-time All-Star, 8-time All-Defensive Team, 5-time All-NBA, 4 times led the league in assists.
So never an MVP?
Never an MVP. Finished second in MVP voting. 1 year, I can't see where it's listed here. 2001, 2002, I believe. What it looks like. And then wasn't a focal point on that Mavericks 2011 championship team.
Yeah.
That was Dirk Nowitzki's team.
Right. So he's 69th on the list. Patrick Kane, nice. 08 Calder, 08 All-Rookie Team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-time All-Star, 3-time Cup champ, 3-time First-Team All-Star, Conn Smythe, Art Ross, Hart, Lindsay, 2nd Team All-Star in 2019, 2010's All-Decade, First Team. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and one of the accomplishments for Jason Kidd was 75th anniversary All-NBA team. Patrick Kane was named to, I would call, the equivalent of what the of that NHL team was, the top 100.
Yes.
He was in there, and he's at least 31 spots ahead of Patrick Kane, who wasn't on the top 100. I mean, I don't know. I feel like McDavid being 98th feels egregious. I feel like Patrick Kane not being on here, outside of my Chicago Blackhawks bias, like as far as accomplishments and impact in the NHL, should be within the top 100 of athletes since the year 2000. And yeah, they got people on here I've never heard of. And sure, am I well versed in the WNBA? No. Am I well versed in Olympic gymnastics? No.
I'll help you on that.
But I don't know who Kohei Uchimura is. Seems very accomplished. But I don't know. More than Connor McDavid?
I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to like appeal to every sport, and they got it.
They are.
And I actually appreciate that. Like, this is a way for WNBA players and athletes in other sports to kind of get their names out there and say, hey, these are probably people you should know and hear about.
Right.
Fine. I appreciate that. I appreciate that the women are getting equal treatment to the men, deservedly so. But it's just like, and specifically Kane, because you could say there's better players than Patrick Kane, but when we talk, just like we talked about Roenick with the Hall of Fame election, like the cultural impact matters. Mm-hmm. There's a reason Matthew Tkachuk chooses mouthpiece the way he does. That's modeled after Patrick Kane. There's a reason Connor Bedard breaks out the Heartbreaker in World Junior Championship games because he modeled it after Patrick Kane. Like the cultural impact of Kane, which is obviously a factor on this list.
Oh, yeah.
It's obviously a factor. Aside from just the resume alone, it feels like a pretty massive oversight.
Yeah. And in an age where, hockey for a long time, once it left ESPN, was kind of navigating through, the fog of being on Versus and then
the Outdoor Living
Network.
Outdoor
Network and NBC Sports Network, which you had to tell the people at the sports bar it's channel 207 or whatever. Right. Like you had to where to find the hockey game. Patrick Kane was one of those guys that was one of the faces of the league and one of the few that I can remember. I know Crosby. I think Crosby was in one. I know Ovechkin was, but so was Patrick Kane. Of This Is Sports Center ads, or like the ads for like ESPN and Sports Center and stuff. Kane was in one, and not a lot of NHL players since let's say 2006, 2007. Like not a lot of NHL players have gotten into Sports Center commercials.
Yeah,
Kane's one of them.
A couple of people asking were there golfers on there. Yes, I saw
Mickelson,
Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy was on there,
and
did you say Mickelson?
Mickelson, yep.
He was on there too.
Is that golf or gambling?
Golf.
There's two different lists.
Golf. And also, let's see. Hold on, let me find it. Let me find it again. Where'd you go? Annika Sorenstam was also on there.
Oh, yeah.
So greatest women's golfer, I guess you'd say.
I would say so.
So yeah.
I don't know.
There were a couple.
Again, part of these things are made for discussion's sake. Mm-hmm. Part of it is made to shape discussion and disagreement. If you see the number one thing on the CHGO list, Cubs winning the World Series, there's about 23% of the city that's really mad about it. Which is predictable and wrong. But I don't know. It just feels like the Kane thing is, I don't think they're doing it to stir up conversation because who's going to do it aside from us? But like, it's just an oversight. It's just they just flat out blew it.
Yeah.
By not having him on this list.
I would say so.
And I sort of argued you before the show. While there's no doubt that Connor McDavid is a better player than Patrick Kane and will be a better player than Patrick Kane, couldn't you argue that Kane belongs here before McDavid does? Because of the accomplishments, because of the cups?
Maybe.
I know McDavid's going to be there, and I think he's going to, by the time his career's over, will be thought of as the best guy to ever play the game. So don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if we're talking about the 2000s so far, I think Patrick Kane's got that title. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as total body of work, you would say so. But as far as, what'll happen in the next couple of years, probably McDavid. I feel very comfortable in saying McDavid will surpass him.
Yes,
as far
I agree.
As points.
I think he's going to surpass everybody at everything.
He might. He might.
Especially when him and Bedard are line mates in a few years, my friends.
Yeah. And just like, Ovechkin was 54. Next on the list was 53 was Derek Jeter. And I was just like, Derek Jeter.
That was for
in the 2000s.
His bedroom prowess.
How is he not top five
now
baseball player?
Now the new thing to do is to undersell how good Derek Jeter was. And he, look.
I get a lot of his accomplishments also came in the 90s, but since
But he's also one of these guys that, was maybe perhaps overpraised because he played in New York. And when you look at, what was he really great at? He was great at everything. He just wasn't, a massive home run hitter or a super high average guy. He just did everything well. Really well.
Yeah.
And then people just I think it kind of backtracked on him where it's people got Derek Jeter burnout. And now the thing is, Derek Jeter wasn't even that good of a player. If you dig into the numbers, it's okay.
Well, would you say that Derek Jeter in the 2000s was a better baseball player than Adrian Beltre, who is one spot higher than him?
Yes.
Oh,
and I love Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, don't touch his head.
I love watching those videos of of him getting mad at everybody. It's awesome. But wasn't Adrian Beltre like hurt all the time? Am I mistaken?
I don't remember. I'm not a big
not all the time.
big
I think he
baseball
was
guy.
pretty healthy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
ESPN's getting what they want out of this list, and that's conversation on other platforms.
Well, the other thing we were going to do
Screw
is
I can't wait for ESPN to talk about CHGO ranks.
They're
Yeah,
gonna.
Yeah.
I think that's what SVP is talking about tonight. We were going to get to the future of free agency. Do we want to hold that for another day?
well, that
We
was
could
the
hold it for
that was the
another day.
title of the picture on the
Yeah.
Well,
thumbnail.
we'll change it.
We can change the
Yeah,
picture,
that's
right?
Yeah.
Well, if we didn't have that hot dog sandwich question,
Yeah.
that took up half
Derailed
the show.
the show.
But yeah, I mean, just to tease it through the weekend, and maybe we'll talk about it coming up on Tuesday. Just looking at the next two free agency classes, and obviously it's ever evolving. Free agents we thought were going to be available this summer,
Yeah.
ended up not being available. But just kind of looking at the way that the Blackhawks are set up right now with their contract situation, and where the cap is and where it's going, who could be available next summer after to really be that next splash free agent. I think it's a very interesting conversation, because there are, even if half of these players get to free agency, you have John Tavares, Mitch Marner, Mikko Rantanen, Sidney Crosby, Leon Draisaitl, Aaron Ekblad, Brock Besser, Brad Marchand, Nikolai Ehlers. Like, those are guys that are scheduled to be free agents next summer. Summer after that, Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, Jack Eichel, Kirill Kaprizov, Kyle Connor, Anze Kopitar, like some interesting names in the next 2 summers that, again, may or may not actually hit free agency, but that's a lot of talent.
Yeah. I mean, we will get into it more, but the more we look at the way this is playing out, and the more we're learning about the way Kyle Davidson operates, and how you look at where this team might be in a couple of years, the idea of like a $13 million contract to somebody that's not Connor Bedard scares me a little bit.
Yep.
Which is why when I hear a name like Kaprizov, which you can maybe 10, 11,
I mean,
I like that a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the market value of all these guys is going to go up with the cap, and even if they're guys that are in their 30s, like, there's still going to be that cost of operation that's going to go up.
Yeah, and I just wonder what kind of an appetite Kyle Davidson has to do that sort of move. But I will say, like, in a year from now or 2 years from now, we're going to have a better idea of what Korchinski is, what Nazar is.
Yeah.
Vlasic's already signed long-term, so that's good. What Reichel's going to turn out to be, and you could maybe have a better idea of, like, okay, do we have a legitimate another top-line player coming to join Bedard, or do we have to find that somewhere else?
Right.
And that answer can be, that question can be answered later. But it just doesn't feel to me like Davidson has the appetite to bring in a guy at that kind of money. Because very rarely are you like, that $14 million deal we signed was a good deal.
Yeah.
Especially for a free agent. When it's your own guy that you
an
drafted and
extension
developed.
or something.
Yeah, of course. Like, there's no regrets for a McCarr, or McKinnon, or McDavid. A lot of mix in there. Or Bedard down the road.
Hey, I'm a quarter Irish.
You know what I meant. The MC, not the derogatory.
I know.
M-I-C-K.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, and I'm kind of, let's see.
Yeah.
As much as I would love Mikko Rantanen. I would love that.
Let's see what the market value is going to be. I agree.
All right. What
And
do you got on
final note here.
Yeah, do you want to do this?
If you've been paying attention to social media in the hockey worlds, which if you're here, how have you not? Apparently, this the original Al the Octopus from the Joe Louis Arena is up for sale on I believe this is Facebook Marketplace. So
yeah,
if we got $30,000 lying around, you can get the original Al the Octopus from the Joe Louis Arena.
They sawed off the tentacles.
It's a bittersweet story, because the person who is selling it, if you saw the Facebook Marketplace post, they have been hit with medical bills that are doing some damage to their wallet. So they had the octopus, but regrettably have to sell it. So if you're picking it up, if you're dropping that money on the original Al the Octopus, you are helping this person out in getting their bills paid. And I don't know. I don't want to tell someone what to do, but maybe you pick up their medical bill and let them keep Al the Octopus if you have that kind of money to drop.
Or the Hockey Hall of Fame says, we'll buy it from you.
Yeah, it'd be nice too.
And they put it in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Or we get it here, and it's a very nice set piece for me to poop on.
Seriously. Yeah. Because, as we know,
Detroit sucks! Detroit sucks!
I think that's a really solid way to end the show.
That's great.
And a long-ass week. Boy, what a long
week.
month this week was.
Yep.
Once again, sending our love to Greg and Stacy for the loss of their pup, Stella, and, of course, Pickles.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we're back. Well, we're going to be off Monday, by the way. We're back Tuesday.
Monday,
we got our golf outing Monday.
Golf outing and other events.
Other festivities on
and
Monday.
Then, Tuesday we'll be back. Mailbag Tuesday.
Mailbag Tuesday. So we'll talk to you then. 2:30. If you're coming out to the golf outing, can't wait to see you.
Yeah.
If you can't and you missed it, don't worry. You got your opportunity coming up in August to join us for the next one at Cog Hill. I still can't believe they let us on Cog Hill. 2 years in a row, no less.
I can't believe they're letting us.
We must have behaved very well.
Yeah.
Good job, everybody. Like I remember when did this happen to you in high school, where every year you had to find a different prom venue?
Yes.
Because you can't come back.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed back. Never come back here. If we see anyone with an STL on their shirt from St. Lawrence, we're throwing them out, whether they're in a group or not.
Yeah, I was never on the event planning committee in high school, but it was a rotation.
Why is St. Lawrence's senior prom in Sheboygan? It's the closest place we can get to take us.
It was outside the radius.
Law, did you have the disposable camera fiascos at your events?
I don't think so.
Well, that was a big thing. They would just leave disposable cameras on the table and be like, hey, take your pictures.
I know we were going with that, but I did not.
Well,
I'm not aware of any of that.
Yeah.
Probably not the best idea.
I grew up where it was digital cameras, so it was a little bit less.
Those can be deleted.
Yeah.
And you know what you have before you develop them.
Yeah. It was a little bit less problematic, but
you could also
not
send
totally
those to
unproblematic.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to be back Tuesday. I will be injured. One way or another, I promise.
Some way.
Some way or another, I'm going to be
Hopefully
injured.
it happens at the golf outing and not the other event.
That would be great.
That would be quite the other story.
Yes, and we'll fill you in on maybe we'll see how the other event goes
see how
before we
the
fill
other
you in on
goes.
it. But we'll talk to you Tuesday at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. We love you, Stella.
We all silly like the mayor.